Austin Wintry. We have developers in the studio with us here, and it's Evil Twin Artworks.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And also, I have a new co-presenter. This isn't George anymore, it's Jordan Webber, freelance writer and presenter.
Although my parents did used to call me George, so...
Right,
yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
No.
So, I mean, I could just be George.
Okay, well, let's just say you're George.
Okay.
And so that means I'm less confused.
Okay.
So, okay, excellent. So, tell us about your game. Actually, give us your names first.
I'm James, and that's Fraser.
Okay. And tell us about your game.
Well, basically, we've created a sandbox real-time strategy game set in World War II. It's based on a tabletop board game, essentially, called Victory at Sea. And, again, we've created something larger than we anticipated. Again, with most of these things, you end up biting off more than you can chew. And so it's turned into quite an epic game. I think that part of the sandbox, the idea of having a sandbox and being able to travel around the Pacific and the Atlantic, means that we don't have to build levels, which is quite handy in that respect as well.
Show us the map, because the map is particularly impressive, isn't it? So it's not just individual battles, you've got a huge map with loads of different ships in all different areas of the... I'm sorry, I didn't realise this would be as complicated as it was, because earlier you just clicked a button and it showed up.
No, it's, I think that was the thing, is that we went from the point of view that most strategy battle games are about controlling all the ships and all the forces in World War II or things like that, And we thought, tell a story. So each one's... you start as a destroyer captain at the beginning of the war, and how you end the war is up to you, really. You could end up being the admiral of a fleet of aircraft carriers or submarines, or a combination of, and basically, we've got 18 classes of ship in it at the moment, but that is looking likely to get bigger.
Okay. So you have like free roam. So essentially, it's kind of up to you. Can you just kind of roam the seas, destroying other ships as you see fit?
And things happen as you're going around. You will encounter things like there might be an enemy fleet attacking one of your convoys and things like that. So you can go and intervene, or you might find shipping that goes to a port, and you can go in there and sort it out, basically, and you could end up just having submarines and just finding ships, like convoys and blowing them up, essentially. So it's very broad what you can do in it.
So how historically accurate is it then? How close have you stuck to the actual events of World War II?
Well, up to the point when you start playing, it's completely accurate.
Okay.
After that, you could change. That was the point we were worried about. We actually got funding from Games Lab to do this. And we got Carl Hilton from Crytek to help out, who's actually a World War II buff and a naval fan. And he essentially, he said, the first ship that you blow up, that wasn't blown up in World War II, you've changed history. So you can only worry about it to a certain degree, and then otherwise you just got to carry on.
Yeah.
But all the ships themselves are accurate to the time period?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, basically, that's the good thing about... I mean, we would never have been able to make this game without becoming friends with partners with Mongoose on it, essentially, who made the original game, because they gave us all the stats that probably would have been looking at a year's worth of research to get all the details, So that's really saved us time, and as an indie developer, it would have been impossible. And Fraser's now just managed to find the enemy by accident. Run away!
Right.
What was it like going from a board game to a video game then? Because we've got a couple of developers here who are actually changing their video game into a board game, which I imagine is a completely different experience. What was it like going that way around?
It was really good fun, actually. I've really enjoyed the whole process. I mean, one of the things people say, why make a turn-based game into a real-time strategy? And it's like, well, we're big fans of board games. Like, we play the board game, it works. And I've played too many ports where they do it straight, and it never quite, it loses something in translation. So it's like, why try and just copy it, do something different with it, and that's where we came from. So I think all the stats in the back are actually really accurate to the game. It does a lot for you now, so you can just get on and do the battle. It's not as heavy as it looks. It's quite an immediate game. In a few minutes, you can pick it up and start playing it.
Do you think that says something about video gamers as opposed to board gamers? Not to cause any controversial arguments or anything. But...
No, I think, I'm a board gamer, but I actually I like you know, one of the things is I find I don't have time to play the games that I used to love playing, which I'd play for days on end, you know, and just really immerse myself in it. And what I found with this, one of the things I wanted to do was play, you know, be able to play it for 10 minutes, or be able to play it for 10 days. And that's what we've got at the moment, you know.
So do you end up with like emergent encounters? Because I presume if it's sandbox and it's really open, and the other enemy ships are going about their business, have you found sort of a lot of emergent things that you weren't expecting? And then,
yeah, definitely. I mean, you can never quite anticipate what's going to happen, and sometimes that's been really good fun in a sarcastic sort of way, where you think, oh, that's brilliant, you know, the accuracy fan's going to hate that, you know.
Right.
It works out really well, and it does feel like, you know, the enemy's pushing against you. It's like a living, breathing world, and I think, you know, the stats from the game really help that.
Yeah. So what platforms is it PC you're aiming at, or is there anything else?
We're launching on Steam and the Mac Store in August the 8th. And then we're aiming for a mobile tablet build for September.
Okay.
We'd like to get on phones, but at the moment we're not sure if we're going to actually make it work. I think on a tablet it works fine. On a phone, we've got to squeeze it down a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. And how do people find out more about the game?
Well, you can go to victoryatseagame.com. We've also got a Steam page up, so you can go on the Steam store and look up Victory at Sea. And you can follow us at iEvil Games as well, for Twitter. And we're constantly posting about the ships and the things we're doing at the moment with it. So,
have you been sort of really kind of trying to build a community of kind of World War II or simulation?
Yeah, there's a broad spectrum of people we've got involved. A lot of the original players of the board game have got involved, and it's trying to please everyone and realising we can't please everyone at the same time.
I was going to say, are they a particularly difficult audience? History buffs tend to be quite determined on
there.
there.
You can get one side, yeah. There are ones that will say, no, not interested, you know, too fast, ship doesn't do that, you know. And you're never going to win with people like that, you know, and that's fair enough. And there's games for people like that as well, you know, the more deep strategy games, you know. But we found actually that they're all really encouraging and quite exciting, because there aren't many World War II naval games out there at the moment, you know. You get one now and again that comes up, and so I think they're quite excited to play something where they can do whatever they want.
I was going to say, do you think, given how popular World War II first-person shooters were until quite recently, do you think this will reinvigorate the World War II-based games?
Well, I think, you know, I look at it from a real-time strategy point of view as well. You know, it's a slightly, you know, it's a different take from my point of view to the real-time strategies I used to play. You know, like a Command and Conquers, things like that. You know, it's like I always to say it's like a giant game of one level of Command and Conquer that you can play for days, essentially. You know, in some respects.
What would you say are the biggest differences between those kinds of games and what you've done with this one?
I think, well, partly the accuracy, and I think the fact that there is a more of a sandbox element. You know, it doesn't. There are missions, but not in the same way. You know?
Okay, and what's the website before we leave that we can find out more about it on?
It was victoryatseagame.com.
Okay, so everybody, thank you so much to Evil Twin Artworks, and this is Victory at Sea. Thank you very much, guys.
Reason.
Good morning everyone, and welcome to another live stream of You Are the Reason. I am very tired. I have had a very long few days at work, so I've just had 12 hours of sleep and woken up just in time to stream, so hooray, woo. Just getting my paperwork together as to what I'm doing today on the stream. Let's have a look. What was I up to? Okay, I know what I was... there was a stream yesterday, which hasn't gone up on YouTube, so I'm just going to say this for everyone on YouTube. The problem is that due to some internet connectivity problems,
welcome back. Keith has disappeared, and I've been joined by Philippa War. And we're here to talk to Laura Kate Dale, who you may know as the editor of Indie Haven, the popular website for indie games. But she's here in a role of developer today. She's made a game, or she's making a game called You Are the Reason. She's brought a demo with her to show us today. So, Laura, what was it like going from journalist to developer?
Honestly, I thought I understood what indie development was like from just sort of an observational point, from being from the journalism side. There are so many things that I did not understand. Oh, sorry. So many things that I did not understand that have really come to light since I've been developing. There's so many unexpected things that come up that you have to work on that you sort of think, oh, I didn't even stop to think about the fact I would have to make that for a game. All the sort of showcasing things like today, showing the game off for the first time, much more tiring than I ever expected. It's just sort of, there's a lot of pressures and stresses that I never sort of anticipated when I was on the journalism side and the writing side, and it's all become very real. It's given me a very different view on the industry.
Okay. Do you feel that more journalists, this is a tricky question because I'm a journalist obviously, so I'm kind of worried about the answer to this one, but do you feel like more journalists should try making games? Do you think it helps?
I did a tweet about this earlier today. I think that more journalists should do this, even if you never release whatever it is you make. Make a game, get it to a point where you can show it in an event and get people playing it. There is so much you learn about just what that other side is like that it's given me a whole new respect for what I thought was, it's already game development, it's a difficult industry. Oh, it's so much harder than you think. So, yeah.
And so, with your game, tell us a bit about You Are the Reason.
It's a top-down 2D RPG that's being made in RPG Maker and being ported into Unity. We had a Unity build playing on a PS Vita today. And the whole point is that you're playing as a character who has the ability to use magic in a world where that is discriminated against quite strongly. It's viewed as something that's only used for evil or for self-gain, and you have to deal with the knowledge that you're a character who's got a lot of power and wants to do good in the world, but that showing that power is going to put you at significant risk.
And given that so many games are about sort of hero fantasies and power fantasies, how does that sort of working with a restraint rather than a sort of overpoweredness, how does that work?
It's been an interesting one. For this particular demo I've got with me today, there's one battle where you do have to show quite a lot of restraint, where you've got a lot of offensive abilities that are at your disposal, but you're playing a battle against family and friends from your hometown that are they're making it very clear you're not getting away from this. If they can help it, they don't want to let you leave. You can't run away from this. Equally, the character has made their intentions clear that they don't want to hurt any of these people. And so you've got to start using other skills in your arsenal that are not offensive to try and find other ways to get away from combat and to sort of find ways to get through these scenarios that aren't going to make the world see you any worse than they already do.
And so do you want to show us a little bit of the build that you brought with us?
Sorry.
With us? With you.
Sorry. I'm very unprepared. This is my first time doing this. I don't know what I'm doing, but here we are.
Full disclosure, by the way, obviously Pip and I both know Laura. Just thought I'd put that out there.
Oh, you don't need to do disclosure. There's no conflict of interest or anything. And so it's all done with voice acting from, I think there's 13 different voice actors doing stuff on the demo, and all of the NPCs are individually voiced. Particularly getting things like, I've got children in to do all the children's roles, which I should probably say, Jordan's
yes, my brother is one of the children.
One of the children in this.
Full disclosure. And what I thought was interesting is that you have transgender people doing voices for characters and cisgender people doing voices for characters, and you've not gone with transgender people playing trans characters or the other way around. Was that for a particular reason?
Yeah, this was an interesting one. I decided quite early on that the protagonist of the game, this isn't a reveal or anything that's made into a big core plot point, but the character in this game is transgender, and there was a very early discussion that was had on Twitter, which was, are you going to cast someone transgender to play that role? And if not, why not? And the decision I came up with in the end was, yes, I wanted to get trans people, have them have the option to do characters in the game, but seeing as I've sort of, as a trans person, I've already written the script and had input on that with people, I felt that I didn't feel that it's necessary to say, oh, you're a trans person, you can only play this character, or you're not a trans person, so you have to play one of these characters. I thought just whoever's right for the role is right for the role, and it ended up that someone who wasn't trans was right for the trans person's role, and vice versa. A couple of trans people we have were not right for the trans role, but they were right for other roles in the game.
And so if people want to give this a go, have a little look, find out more, where should they go? Who should they follow on Twitter? Like,
well,
all of your details, come on.
They should follow me on Twitter at Laura K. Buzz. That's where all the information will be coming. After being at Radius today, it's going to be at London Anime and Gaming Con the 5th and 6th of July, and then in mid-July there's going to be a public demo going out online, which there will be details coming on my Twitter around then, so keep an eye out in mid-July.
Awesome. And will it be PC, Linux, Mac kind of thing?
At first it will only be PC. The plan is down the line to port it to other things. That's why we're working on the Unity port. We had it running on a beta today, and it can be ported to other things. It's just a question of what those will be at the moment.
Awesome. Okay, and that was Laura Paydale, everybody. Going to a random trailer, maybe an ident, who knows?
We have no idea what's going on.
No.
But thanks.
Can a question change the world? What might artificial intelligence teach your family? Could we help you protect your children from the dangers of the outside? Doesn't a military contractor handling England's security just make sense? At Gisborne Industries, we let other people ponder questions, while we set about answering them. Gisborne Industries. We've got your back. Can a question change the world? What might artificial intelligence teach your family? Could we help you protect your children from the dangers of the outside? Doesn't a military contractor handling England's security just make sense? At Gisborne Industries, we let other people ponder questions, while we set about answering them. Gisborne Industries. We've got your back.
The fully laden carol of Skirmish Games returns, with some tricksy opponents, and a few familiar friends. More sneaky traps to defend your castle, and some brutal new ways to bash a hole in someone else's. New ways to play the game. Co-op play, defend together. New units to command. New desert threats. And a host of improvements to a much-loved game. Crusader 2, welcome back to the desert.
Are we live?
We're live. Sorry about that, guys. Pretend you didn't see that. So we're back, obviously, at Radius, and we're here with Alistair, who is showing us Tap Happy Sabotage, which is a big screen multiplayer game. So it's something quite a bit different from what we've seen so far. We've got a couple of beautiful helpers. We have Anne Scantlebury. And do you want to introduce the other one? Because I don't know what his name is. And we have Remy Israel. Okay, Glamorous assistants, are you ready to go?
Okay.
Okay, Alistair, are you going to explain what the game involves?
Okay, so everyone touch the screen once to join in, and you see you're given 2 cards, so Rami touch the screen, and you're given a card on the left. If you tap that, you get a point, and you've got a card on the right. If you tap that, you lose all your points. So can you remember what your pictures are?
So Anne's looking for ice cream and Rami's looking for underpants. Is that correct? Okay.
Yep.
Just making sure I know what's going on.
That's all right. It's always a good idea to look for underpants on a Friday night. It's so the game is really everyone's looking for their card. So I think I'll not try to win because it's designed for as many people as you can fit around the screen.
Okay.
So this is a 23-inch monitor I've got it running on. I've run it on bigger monitors. I was just earlier this week running it on an 88-inch monitor.
88 inches, Twitch. Incredibly impressive.
I did that wrong. No.
So you can kind of get a feel for the way it plays out because there's plenty of opportunities to mess each other up and play dirty, steal points from each other, and arm wrestle. Do you want me to gang up on each other? Each point you score, not each point you score, each round that happens in the game introduces a new rule. So you might 1 minute you're just looking for your card, the next minute you're trying to hold 3 of the same card at the same time. Another bit you've got an enemy sort of bouncing around the screen, you've got to keep it out of its way. And of course, while it's doing that, there's all kinds of ways to mess up your opponents. You can hold their hands in place or grab their arms so they can't touch their cards or just throw their cards
I've got a question. What made you want to make a game that would encourage people to fight each other?
Because fighting, it's still playing. There's bad guys on the screen. You've got to keep this...
Sorry, Anne has commandeered the screen there.
It's a good victory strategy. The idea really, when we make physical contact, when we're pushing, we're shoving and all that, we're socialising, and it's a really special social experience that you kind of, that you can share with a friend or make friends through playing it against strangers.
How many is the most number of players you've had? At one time?
I played it with 10 people at one time, which and the screen has remained unscathed throughout.
Did the players remain unscathed throughout?
I have had no injuries except a broken nail, which happened once.
That doesn't.
We don't need to mention that. Pretend I never said that. That would be bad PR.
So I take it this does actually work on a normal-sized tablet as well that you might have at home.
Yeah. So Tap Happy Sabotage is designed for a big screen, but it works fine on a 10-inch screen. Okay. So I'm also looking at I've been playing around with networking as a way to bring the sort of big screen experience to people who have a lot of small screens, a lot of tablets around. That's still in development, so I can't make any guarantees it's going to work as planned, but hopefully I'll be able to bring that to iOS and Android in the near future.
Okay.
But right now it's just come out on the Windows Store.
It's incredibly distracting.
That's all right. It's the way it's meant to be played.
I'm not sure we're allowed to show this kind of.
Before this breaks down into some sort of dispute that needs another type of court. Where can we find you? Where can we find this? How can we see more?
Okay, my name is Alistair Aitchison. That's I'm AG Aitchison on Twitter. The game is at taphappysabotage.com. It's got links to the Windows Store page. Also links to my Twitter if you want to follow me and tell me that you've broken an arm playing it, and I'll tell you, well done, you must have really enjoyed it.
Please don't sue me.
So it's taphappysabotage.com, and you can find the rest there.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
And I believe we are going to go to a trailer for, I hope I get this right, In Space We Brawl?
No, Sonic.
Oh.
Sonic.
Sonic We Brawl, perhaps. So close. Sounds virtually the same. We'll do that.
But the next scheduled show is In Space We Brawl after.
Thanks, George!
I don't know if you can hear me, but I made it across. It's really bad here, Verlaine. I think there's something here.
Striker. Monolith. Cypher. Mass Driver. Quandaslinger. I am Vulcan. Place your bounty. Three, 2, 1, let's go.
We're here to look at In Space We Brawl, and because it's a multiplayer game, we have 4 guys here with controllers ready to brawl in space, I believe. Now, they've all been quite cocky, so I'm going to get them to introduce themselves with space names. We'll start with the developer. What's your real name, and then what's your space name?
Alessandro, from Italy, from the Italian studio for Joplai.
Okay.
And
what would your space name be?
What?
What would your space name be? If you were a space captain, what would you be called?
No. I don't have a space name.
Okay, no, that's fine. Well, you're
let's
not
stick to
being-
Alessandro.
So it's these guys with the controllers who are being cocky, so we'll get them to give space names.
Okay.
Mike Bithell, I believe, is your name. What's your space name?
I am Space Prince Sparkles.
Okay, Space Prince Sparkles in the lovely pink shirt.
With hairs.
And next?
And I'm Alan Zacconi. I think it would be shortly after. My No, not today.
Next, but we're not sure.
Captain Biscuits. A suggestion arrived.
Okay, very good. And next?
I'm Rami Ismail.
And your space name?
My space name is Rami Ismail.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm Andrew Smith from Spilt Milk, and
Okay.
I'd have to go with Flash Bourbon.
Flash Bourbon. Okay, so now you know who to root for. Are we ready
Pretty
to
good.
play?
Wait, why am I holding this mic?
Are you gonna if we get the developer to explain what the game is? And
Yeah,
then
so
you guys can
basically
go.
it's a twin stick shooter, competitive one. So we can do a short tournament of 3 matches. So no, 3. I said 3. Okay.
Who's got the controller?
Okay. Bounty, yes. Okay. Start game.
Start game?
Start game.
Scroll down, whoever scroll this.
Yeah, oh, sorry.
And start.
Sit down.
So.
We can do this.
Okay.
So who's rooting for Captain Biscuit?
So
Anyone
join-
in the audience?
Join with the X button. Okay, join with the X, all of you. Okay. Now you can pick a spaceship. We have 10. And then we have 10 different weapons. So you can basically choose a ship and the weapon and create your own ship and compete with the others. Controls are left stick to move around, right stick to aim, and L2 and R2 for the weapons. R2 simple weapon, L2 special weapon.
What is bounty?
Okay, bounty is, if you put a bounty on yourself and you survive, you get the bounty. If you put a bounty on someone else and you kill him, you get the bounty.
We're all cocky, so we all
Okay, select location, which one you like.
Sure.
I love that level. That's great.
Okay.
Which one? Oh yeah, there.
Okay, the red one has a plasma sword that you can use to pierce the others.
Are you laughing at the big pink stick?
No.
Okay.
So-
Definitely not.
Oh, one is fresh.
Me neither.
Okay, the blue one has the laser that is pretty powerful.
Who's winning at this point?
One is dead.
Who
Three is
should
on
we
the
be
screen.
rooting for?
I can only
Okay,
remember
one is
one
the-
space
red is
name, and
dead.
that's Captain Biscuit. I can't remember what any of the others were called.
Okay, blue one. Who is blue? Rami is blue. Okay, Rami is winning. I don't know.
And so you've got these asteroids. Do they get?
Yeah, you can destroy asteroids. You can pick power-ups. Okay.
I honestly don't think our
Okay.
questions
Now
are
that
really
you know
clear.
everything, but also the shield and the boost. Shield on the left side and boost on the right side.
Nobody
So,
seems to quite know
Rami,
what they're
2
doing.
kills and 4 bounties. Not bad. If you want, you can switch weapons and switch ships.
It's cool that you put that's really sweet.
Red one is a sniper rifle, and okay, you have a red one. Deal. Okay, bounties.
Two. Always. One.
Okay, pick this one. Too late. Okay. Okay.
Giant laser beam of doom.
Green one, use the right trigger to aim.
Are some of the weapons more powerful than others, or is it just a
No,
matter
we
of
spend a
preference?
lot of time balancing everything.
Okay, I agree.
Wow. Wow.
That seems really balanced.
It's balanced. Okay, we have a pro here.
I think Rami is winning.
I don't even have a space name.
This game sucks.
Okay, last match.
First thing
Last match.
I'm blue. Everybody fight
Everyone gang up on your
Big-
blue.
This one is going to have to be over quickly.
Pick this one. Okay, big one.
Oh, I
Okay.
didn't do that.
Okay, there's a black hole in the middle of the screen. Okay, that is the black hole.
So I guess it's a bad idea to go in the
Yeah,
black
it
hole.
attracts everything.
Okay, yeah. Just making sure.
Everyone against the blue!
I think we've got the time to the one last match, but just to make sure that you get all of your details out, let us know where we can find this online.
Okay, it's still in development, so we don't have a proper website yet, but a Facebook page that is Facebook/InSpaceWeBrawl or Twitter InSpaceWeBrawl, and hopefully we're going to publish it in 3 months.
Not today,
No, not today. And hopefully on PS4 and PS3, and then on PC later.
Oh, perfect. So you've all got about 3 months to get good at killing him.
Yeah, exactly.
Again!
But wait. Let's see the points. Confirm with the X.
I have like 70 bounties.
Again, X.
X. Somebody press X.
Shall we give a round of applause to the
Yellow
winner,
one.
Grammy?
Yellow one.
There's points. It's great. I love points. Oh, this
11.
is a match.
Well, he completely wiped the floor with everyone.
A little bit.
Well done, everybody.
While these guys argue over who did least badly, I think we should go to some trailers and then we'll be back with Prismatica.